Hi, my name is Dave Wetzel. I'm your CEO from MLS Listings, and we're starting a new series called the Technology Spotlight. And I thought that a great start for this would be talking about AI. It's such a new and exciting and very fast-moving field. So let's talk about it. So how has the emergence of AI affected our subscribers and MLS listings? It's an interesting topic, and it's actually very exciting to me. We're doing a number of things, and we actually have been doing a number of things kind of behind the scenes that people didn't realize was dabbling into AI now for a while. So if you take a look at the ad edit, so say you're a listing agent and you're creating a new listing and you're using our listing management system, there are some AI kind of features that are built into that from the beginning. They may have started off pretty simple. So for example, you type in 123 Main Street and it goes off and figures out the number of beds and baths and square footage and presents that to the listing agent and says, do you want to use these or do you want to change them? And it does what we call an auto population of some of those fields. And so that started off with 15 or 20 fields that we helped the agent with. But now that we're looking forward and seeing what more we can do with AI, I think there's a lot we can do there to improve that process, or should I say, speed the process up. So if you are creating a listing, I think there's a lot of things we can do to help create that listing faster. So another area that we are currently working on right now is AI that's taking a look at the photos. And so there is a field in the MLS that, or in the listing, so when you enter in a listing, you can say, this photo is the kitchen, or this photo is the bathroom. You can fill that in today. And that's actually really helpful for ADA compliance on websites. And so not only our website, but all the IDX websites out there would love all those rooms filled in. Someone who's maybe site challenged and looking at those websites through their own software that helps them with that, having those rooms identified in the photos is really helpful. But that's a lot of work to go in and enter those in because some of you have a lot of photos on those listings. And so one of the things we're going to be rolling out soon is the ability for our software to take a look at the photo, and our software will say, hey, I know this is a kitchen, or I know this is a bathroom, and going ahead and filling that out for you. That will help with that ADA compliance on websites. But then we're looking at saying, okay, what can we do to take that to the next step? And so one of the things we'll be looking at doing on things that we control, which is our own consumer-facing website, is to say, if you come to the consumer-facing website and you want to look at all the bathroom photos, and there's a lot of photos sometimes for these, why make the consumer scroll through 100 photos when really they wanted to look at the bathroom photos first? So we should be able to have a button that says, show me all the bathroom photos, show me all the kitchen photos, show me all the bedroom photos, and be able to categorize those to help your clients in going through those and finding what they want to find first. So the whole AI area is moving really fast. I'm sure you're all seeing cool things in the news, scary things in the news about what can happen with AI, what AI can do. And so what we're doing is we're taking a look at that and asking ourselves, how fast do we move forward with AI? Where are the risks? Where are the easy things that we can do? And so if you take a look at that and step back and say, what are the things that we want to do next, and where are the risk areas? Well, the risk areas are really more around what is AI bringing into the picture that may be correct, maybe not correct, maybe copywritten material that you didn't know about that just got put into your listing. And so these are some of the things that we're looking at. We're working with counsel on, trying to understand, what is the difference between facts that we can use versus what the legalese is looking at in terms of core expression. So core expression are things that could be potentially dangerous to pull from another source. And so what we're looking at now is trying to figure out how we can source the information that goes into some of these so that we know that we're putting in the correct sources, that they're not copyright issues with it. And that's kind of where we're looking at mapping out our next steps. What can we do safely? And what are the things that we really need to think twice about? Yeah, so it's kind of a wrap up there. Where do I think that we're going to be using AI to really benefit for our subscribers? And I think that there's going to be a lot of areas that we don't even know about today that are going to be coming up soon. But right now, what I'm looking at is I think the number one thing is it's going to make it faster for a listing agent to create a listing. And you'll start to see some of that rolling out soon. Of course, what you'll also see is that listing management will ask the agent to confirm that those things are actually in the listing or on the property. But it should make the listing edit faster and in many cases more accurate too. Hopefully we can do that. So that's the first area. And then as I mentioned, the second area is going to be around your clients who may be looking at different websites and saying, hey, I want to see all of the bathrooms or bedrooms or kitchen photos. And so the things that we can do, if we populate the listing with more information that's correct and accurate, then there are things that not only that we can do, but there are things that websites out there can take advantage of. So there's a lot of cool things, and we're constantly watching what's happening on this front to see how I can utilize some new information and make something better, faster, easier for our subscribers.
Hey, MLS Listing subscribers. Here we are in beautiful San Francisco, about to interview Abhijeet Mohapatra. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mohapatra. Gotcha, nailed it. All right. Who's a CTO and co-founder of Symbium.
Thanks for inviting me here.
Oh, no, thank you for taking the time here to come and talk to us. So, Abhijeet, obviously it's been, you can't go into a news article or you can't go on the internet, news stories, whatever it is, it's front and center right now. It's artificial intelligence. How has it evolved so quickly over the last, decade, or has it been here the entire time, maybe benefiting consumers, but we just didn't really notice?
AI has been in existence since a very long time. The concept of self-driving cars is not new. It's been there before. The concept of machine learning has been there since the 80s and even before. What's been missing is a humongous amount of data that is available now. In 98, when Google came into existence, there was so much data that could be harvested by Google. So data is key to all of this. Data is the new oil, as they say, and that is key. The second thing that is important to emergence of AI right now is easy access to computing resources. With AWS and other platforms that are now in existence, it's easy for anyone, let alone in big company, to spin their own cluster and run, train a model or build an AI system.
Gotcha.
So MLS Listings thrives to bring the latest technology, the most potential technology to our products, to our services, and AI is no exception here. AI-powered features enable incredible productivity, efficiency, a lot of great things that our subscribers can benefit from. But at the same time, we have to look at various concerns, maybe data quality, data security concerns, so we can't just go and enable things that look cool to us, right? So for that purpose, we formed an AI task force at MLS Listings, where we look at certain benefits, at all kinds of benefits and potential that AI can give us, but at the same time, we want to have well-defined guidelines for our staff, for our engineers, and for our subscribers to take advantage of this technology in a safe and protected way. So as I said before, AI, artificial intelligence, has been powering various features for many years. I mean, we've seen AVMs, automated valuation models, where you can kind of price the house, right? We've seen market analysis. The way market analysis are generated is by machine learning, studying previous trends, studying historical behaviors, the historical performance of the market, and predicting future um, trends and stuff like that. We've been analyzing client behavior, consumer behavior, what consumers searching for, helps maybe builders to figure out what kind of product, what kind of development they should be looking into. So a lot of those things have been out there for a long time, right? But now that with this coming out of various chatbots that are AI powered, and where human language, human search can be translated into machine language that machines understand, it empowers agents to do all sorts of things, from creating your marketing plan, various checklists, how to interact with documents and disclosures, how to, or let's say usage of CRM systems that have AI powered features where you can analyze your client behavior, their interest, and that builds up much better leads, much better, gives you insights into what your clients want, if they're maybe ready to sell, or they're ready to move and downsize, or look for a bigger house and things like that. So when tasks that traditionally were manual, repetitive, were taking time, can now be somewhat automated, right? So it contributes to productivity, to efficiency. It frees up an agent to build this human relationship, continue to nurture relationship with their clients, and focus on things like that that can never be replaced by any artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and so as this, I think this is kind of, a lot of people view it as maybe the infancy right now of AI, and where it's going to go. Where do you see it in the next few years of, how it's going to evolve, and how that's going to impact society, but also specifically the real estate industry?
When you are interacting with governments, you don't expect to go through the manual paperwork. You expect a system to do the work for you. That's where my company comes in. When you're interacting with IRS, you don't expect to, do your taxes on a paper form. You expect a robot that should do it. That's how AI is raising the bar. In terms of real estate industry, there are so many factors to take into account. The variability of the market, there's so many properties out there. There's so much data about properties. There's an information overload right now for the clients. And the person who is guiding the client, the consumer, is the real estate agent. And they have market expertise. So there's a demand and there is a supply here with the market expertise. What AI can do is take all of the data and make it accessible in a more digestible form to both the agent and the consumer. So that will lead to the consumer being better prepared to better understand what is the ROI of that investment they're on to make, what is the potential of their property, and to visualize that before they will purchase it. How it empowers the agent is that it makes them better aware and in tune with the market trends, better understand the intent of the buyer or the seller, because that data is being collected already in knowledge systems right now. AI can just help them search the data better.
Yeah, it should be more efficient, less time dealing with the administrative part maybe, and like you said.
Yeah, and regulations, they are important, but very often when they are implemented in an archaic way, they become a bottleneck for the society, for progress. So that's exactly one of the things that my company is trying to do, is how can we streamline those regulations? Right now, California has enacted this law to streamline solar panels and energy storage systems for residential properties.
Right.
But we can't get that done unless there is a system that can instantly check against building codes. So that's what we are doing right now.
Taking all that information, and I know, visually on your site, to see it, for a lot of people need to see a visual.
And that's not a good, so you brought up the example of real estate agents, right? So there's a lot of paperwork they need to do, just as there's a lot of paperwork building officials need to do. Checking these plans is not a good use of their time.
Right.
Because that's 0 and 1. That's a binary portion of the code, of the municipal code, of the building code. Why shouldn't we let a machine do that? And the building official focus on the design, plan on the design of the house, and whether it's safe and so forth. I think that's where people need guidance. And that's where the importance of humans comes in, understanding that expertise, the guidance, and so on.
Interesting.
It's important to understand that this is not a new thing, right? Machine learning, AI, and artificial intelligence has been around for many years. As we are producing so much data with internet, with smart devices, with smartphones and various smart devices around houses, right? First, we've been producing a lot of data. Our computing powers increase dramatically and give us ability to process all this data. And this is where machines simply do things much faster, much more efficiently than humans. So artificial intelligence has been powering many features for many years in many industries, right? Banking, insurance industry, risk analysis, or recommendations that you see what next movie you want to watch or what next item you want to buy in your shopping experience. So now that it's at MLS listings, we've been on top of it as well. We've been actually using OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, simply because this is a Microsoft-backed company and we are Microsoft shop. So we've built various features here and there. So we've been not only exposed to this technology, we've been actively taking advantage of this technology, right? Now, as we're looking further, we are working with the MLSs in the industry that also have engineering teams. We are collaborating, we are attending industry events, we are staying on top of these trends, and we are carefully studying use cases, successful use cases in other industries that can apply to real estate industry, but keeping pain points of our customers in mind. Again, keeping the directions from board of directors, what do we need to work on, and we're trying to match issues, pain points, use cases to how technology can solve various things faster, better, more efficiently. So this has always been our approach. It's no different here. We just continue to do what we've been doing.
So, Abhijeet, with artificial intelligence becoming more prominent into everything, and I'm sure these applications as we grow will grow and grow. I mean, what do you think the effect will be on the agent, realtor, broker, and also what about the consumer side? How does that benefit the consumer as well?
So right now, if you look at the dynamics between the consumer and the agent there, it is about, a person who's trying to learn something, that's the consumer, and the agent is the expert who knows about the market and so forth. So if you look at amplifying their abilities, how is the consumer better prepared to understand the trends in the industry? How is the agent better able to understand the needs of the consumer, match that with their expertise and understand the trends and advise them? To give you an example, when we began this partnership with MLS Listings, we were talking about a piece of software that Symbium had built that helps anyone understand what is the ADU potential of a property.
Right.
Now, why is that important to consumers? Because it helps you visualize on your property where does not exist an ADU, what could it look like? What would be the ROI? So with the advent of technologies like, AR, VR, the possibilities are immense because that's creating new data right now. Instead of going to your web browser, imagine you walk into your backyard, or when you're viewing the property, you can walk into the backyard and visualize what can it evolve into. You go into the interior of a building, now you can choose from different settings of how much it costs, how would it look like. And the agent can do all that research for you and personalize it for you because they know these trends. They can advise you on the market better. I think these are some examples that I would see how AI can immediately affect it.
And so it's giving you all that information, it's taking all that information, right, and then putting into it a very easily thing to comprehend, especially for a consumer to visualize and not have to worry about all those minor details. Same with the agent.
Yeah, it's all about comfort right now, right? Because that's what AI is doing. And I think it's an important consequence of AI, which is it is getting people used to embracing tech.
Right.
And what Symbium, my company, is trying to do is get people to the habit of not doing paperwork anymore. relying on a machine to do that. And that's going to become the norm. So what AI is doing is getting you to keeping the human society to a much higher standard and making our jobs more important.
Right.
So the agent gets to focus on their expertise, the communication between the customer and the agent, instead of focusing on the paperwork, instead of focusing on a listing, how to generate one, how to file in the paperwork and all.
Right. Be more efficient. And you can see what happened with COVID, obviously Zoom, right? Things like that nature. People were kind of forced into it, but they quickly learned and adapted. That's the new way of, ingesting, material data through videos or doing conferencing because you couldn't be there. And, that comfort seems to have grown to where we're at today, right?
Exactly.
So, Abhijeet, consequence-wise, you mentioned consequences. I do want to talk because there is a lot of trepidation, right, involving, it's this technology. It seems to be moving really fast, and it can be involved in almost just about every industry. And, you can see the benefits, but there's also those privacy concerns. There's the accuracy concerns. Those ethical concerns for a lot of people. I guess we'd say, what are some of the concerns that you may have going forward as it progresses? And how do you deal with those kind of concerns?
I mean, that's the $1 billion question right now, right? So an important part of any technology to progress is how do we understand its place in society? How do we define, how do we make it, how do we define it so that it can make us grow as a society? And one of the biggest consequences right now is, let's take an example of Twitter, right?
Sure.
There's so much misinformation right there.
Right.
Why is that the case? Because information is being generated which is not true, and there is no layer or no filter provided to individuals to understand that this may not be correct. Right? Fact checkers have
Sure.
that facility, but consumers don't. So transparency is a big issue. How is this data being generated? Is this guaranteed to be accurate? And so forth. So the other part is, how do we regulate AI? Right? For instance, like self-driving cars. Who is liable when an accident occurs?
Right.
What are the safeguards that we put around this technology? But that said, these are good problems to have. I don't think these are unsurmountable. With any new technology, that's the best part of it. That's the exciting part of it. I think what's important here is education. Mm-hmm. Like, let's say a company is adopting AI, government is adopting AI, and, consumers are trying to embrace AI. Important part is education, like understanding how consequences are generated. So, what most of us are more familiar when we hear the term AI is chatbots, right? That's what we think of as AI. That's not necessarily the case. There is knowledge-based AI that my company uses, which is guaranteed to give you correct results. There is AI that is generative, which generates results by looking at past information and so forth, using learning-based techniques. But those are not guaranteed to be correct. It's more about generating consequences based on what has been looked at before.
Right.
Understanding how these systems work gives the public with sufficient information to interpret them. And I think that education is important for people who are working with AI systems and people who are consuming consequences of AI.
So I think the one thing that I want to say about AI and real estate and specific to MLS listings is that we're keeping a very, very close eye on what's happening. We're cautiously moving forward to understand where we've got confidence level in what we can use. And there are other MLSs out there who are looking at creating MLS policies and rules around what you can or can't do with this in the listings. And I think the approach that we want to take is we want to take a slightly different approach and say, hey, since we create most of these tools ourselves, let's look and see where we can use this and make it easier, better, faster for the listing agent, and not try to create complex rules for agents to follow on what they can and can't do, and see what the software can do for you.
Stay tuned for part 2 as we continue to look at AI's potential impact on agents and the real estate industry.